CBDCs. Now, I always had the thought process that CBDCs would allow the government to shut down your account if you said something or did something that they deemed, unacceptable. I knew that there would be tracking of everything you bought, but I didn't realize to what extent it could actually go until I watched this clip by a gentleman named Majid Nawaz. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but I gave it my best shot. Now, before I show you that clip, I just want to show you who this video is brought to you by. It's brought to you by myself and the new clothing site that we have up, IamCoachColin.com. You can get all the Soul Not For Sale clothing line that we have available. It is the hoodies. We have shirts. We have t-shirts. We have women's V-neck t-shirts. Different colors, all that good stuff. So I just thought I'd show you guys that. It's something I've been wanting to do since I was 20 years old, and I finally have done it thanks to my wife and thanks to all of you as well for the motivation and the push. So just wanted to share that with you. Every single purchase that you guys make on there. Oh, we also have mugs, Soul Not For Sale mugs. Every single purchase helps the channel a lot. Sometimes these videos get limited. Sometimes they just make it so I can't have any ad revenue whatsoever, and they never explain why, and it's frustrating. So anything that you guys can do to support there, please do so. Get that Soul Not For Sale merch, and also this anti-WEF hoodie is also for sale on there as well in black and white. Let's get into the video. Oh, let's get right here. Interesting, very interesting stuff. Let's do this.
Central bank digital currencies, and I think they.
What's your concern with that?
Central bank digital currencies are essentially a tracking tool. So when we were discussing earlier about the fact that it's my data is valuable, and wherever I tap my contactless card leaves a mark that I bought the bottle of water at that time, and you said tracking.
Of course.
So central bank digital currencies are tracking. That's what they are. So in a sense, you take paper money away. Because we ended up printing so much of it, quantitative easing, that it's become pretty much worthless. The dollar standard globally is no longer being respected. China and Russia are trading oil in rubles and no longer in dollars. Again, it's unprecedented. Saudi Arabia considering the same thing. Just 4 years ago, this would be considered impossible to do. So paper money, and the reason it's happening is because the Federal Reserve has made a mess of money and the money system. So what they want to bring in instead is central bank digital currencies. And what you can do is, if all of our currency is digital and it's run by the central bank, you can program it. And so you could say, right, Majid, you've had this was a coffee. I spilled it on the way in there.
On your pants,
yeah. They're white as well. But you could say, right, Majid, this is my second coffee today because I'm jet lagged from the travel. You've had 2 coffees today. And so next time you try and buy a coffee, that's your quota met. And you won't physically be able to buy it. Now with coffee, that sounds petty, but we know that's what they want to do with red meat. We know that they've told us they want us to eat more bugs as opposed to red meat. So if you've got a central bank digital currency that is programmable, which we also know, there's an article in the Telegraph, Rob, which you may want to bring up, but It might be behind a paywall though, but the Bank of England has told us that these central bank digital currencies will be programmable. You might want to look up the word Bank of England CBDC or digital currencies programmable, and the Telegraph article with the word Telegraph in there, and it should come up as one of the Bank of it. There you go. In that article there, programming. You see it? Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming.
Wow.
Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible.
You
right?
can't
This is from 2021.
It'll block you from eating or doing something that they don't want, that they deem wrong.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, I do think, so this is how it's going to get harder, right?
Tom Mutton, a director at the Bank of England, said during a conference on Monday that programming could become a key feature of any central bank digital currency in which the money would be programmed to be released only when something happened.
Yeah,
Strict.
Yeah. So you've had. I had a steak for dinner last night, right? We in the UK, I recommend South Asian food. but if you want a steak, you have to come to America.
Yeah.
Right?
Brick Lane.
Yeah. Who's been? You've been
I've
there?
been to Brick.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'd probably give you some recommendations that are off the beaten path a bit more for proper good desi food, but that's a topic we could conversation we could have
Bangladeshi
off
food
air.
I've had Brick Lane.
But I had.
But
a
if you
steak-
had too much steak this week, there, Majid,
That's my point.
That's it. You can't have another
That's
one.
right. They can program it. You've met your quota, and this whole carbon bullshit, right? That eating this piece of steak is bad for the environment. So sorry, but you literally can't purchase that anymore because the CBDC is programmed. It recognized that yesterday Majid had one. So tonight, maybe I want another steak. Can't buy one.
Now, that is something that I didn't realize was possible. So, shutting down accounts, that was the main thing that I was thinking of when it came to this whole thing of CBDCs. I was thinking, you say something, they shut your account down, you can't access your money. That was the extent of how far I thought of it. Now, with what I just heard, think about this. They could program that currency so you can't buy things from mom and pop shops. Like you can't buy things from like small neighborhood businesses. Like you can only get stuff at the Walmart in the big box places. You can only get a certain amount from each store. Like it gets pretty crazy when you start realizing that it's programmable and that it will more than likely be programmable. So it's not just the fact that you can only get 2 steaks a week or, 3 pieces of fish a week, whatever, when it comes to what he was talking about. But this goes deeper. They can make it so, it's like your business is this size and, we don't really think that it's essential. Back when they were doing things like that, this is not essential. So we're actually going to make it like you won't shut down. And guess what? You don't have to shut down. Fine. You can stay open. But anybody who's using our currency, right, which will be the currency, they won't be able to purchase from you. And if people are coming to you and using cash, well, because what they're planning to do, certain amounts of cash will be considered the gray market, they said. So that will be, you can be under penalty of going to jail if you're using certain amounts of cash. And that amount will go down and down and down. Like right now, it's like anything more than $1,000 would be considered the gray market. By the time they have all this up and running, if they get it all up and running, because I'm optimistic about this, if they get it all up and running, that amount will go down, 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 down. And then every piece of cash will be considered the gray market, which will put you under penalty for using it. It goes pretty far what they could do. And obviously this gentleman is telling us about stuff that's happening in England, but we all know that when it comes to the WEF, because that's what he's actually talking about when he talks about the whole thing of, wanting bugs, and the WEF is they're the people who released a article talking about how meat will become a special treat and it won't be a staple anymore. They're trying to move towards crickets and things like that being a staple because it's easier to buy. It's less carbon emissions to grow a bunch of crickets than it is to have a bunch of cattle. So just got my mind kind of going, like how deep this can go. Like this would be wild. I don't know. So I just wanted to share that with you and have you think about that as well, because when these things do come up in your town, in your city, in your state, I keep saying that local government, you really got to look at what the local government's doing, and don't just look at what they're doing right in front of your face. You have to look at what they plan on doing, or what they are doing currently and where it leads to. And you really got to get in front of them and be like, I don't want this. You got to get together in your communities and be like, we don't want this. You got to help people understand how far it can go. And I know that's a tough task, but it has to happen, because the other option is pretty bleak. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that, because that kind of threw me off. Thinking about accounts getting shut down if you say certain things, it's like you could still navigate in that world. You could get out what you have to say in a certain way, this, that. But when it comes to the whole thing of all of a sudden there's quotas on everything, quotas on gas. You don't need more than $30 worth of gas a week. You don't need more than $10 worth of gas a week. Then all of a sudden it's like you can't buy gas on Tuesdays. Can't buy gas on Tuesdays because you shouldn't be going anywhere, because we're trying to save the planet. Then it becomes Tuesday. Then it becomes, we're going to do a 4-day work week for you guys. But on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you can't buy gas. Shouldn't be going anywhere. You should rest. On the days where you have to work, you're able to buy gas because we want you to go to work. Then also, you know what I mean? It gets weird. Gets really, really weird. Anyway, I'm on a brighter note. I'm out of here. But yeah. I don't even know what to say. The more I hear about this CBDC thing, the more frightening it becomes. Do what you can. Nothing violent ever, but you have to stand your ground when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'll say that much. I'm out.